Mixing beats. I know it's complicated. Nobody wants to deal with it. Honestly, I hate it sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. It's not even the funnest part of making beats, but it's got to be done. And there's a simple and easy way to get it done and get it accomplished so that you're not feeling overwhelmed or feeling like you need all the best plugins. Let's get to it. I will say this is not an engineering class. I'm not an engineer. It's just not my thing. I don't really enjoy engineering to that level. I have done some stuff with artists and stuff, but there's a limit that I have. It's like, okay, I'm good. Somebody else can do this, you know? So I will say this, do not overcomplicate this. We're going to create this, make it really simple. Do not overcomplicate it. And we're going to just go through, mix this whole track. And I'm going to just try to explain every little thing that I'm doing. And that way you can emulate this on your tracks. Real quick, make sure you have good sounds. If you don't have good sounds, you're going to be doing a lot of work trying to fix the sounds that don't sound good. So get high quality sounds. You can actually get that in this guide, this free guide that I can send. I can send a digital copy of this book right here, this ebook, send it right to your email box instead of a physical copy. You can just get it right now. Link is in the description. I have all of the plugins and sound kits that I recommend that I actually personally have used or still currently use now. So go ahead and check that out. Link is in the description. All right, so this is the track. Okay, this track is actually a dope track that I made, and I'm actually selling it on my beat store. You can get that in the description as well. 1522 Beats is my YouTube channel for that, where I'll be uploading beats and selling those. And yeah, you can check that out. We have a lot of content that we're building out for Christian artists, Christian hip hop artists specifically. But yeah, that's basically what the channel is going to be. All right, so this is the track. I'm gonna play it. Don't get overwhelmed with all this stuff though. Okay, this is arrangement. We'll get into that another time. That's a whole nother video. We have this arrangement or this layout. Green is all drums, red is like 808s, bass lines, things like that, and the blue is in its variants are melodies. Okay, and then we have our like rises and runs, our producer tags, stuff like that. So don't get overwhelmed with that if you're still new to this. It's all good. So boom, this is the track. I'm going to play the main chorus, and it's not mixed. There's nothing on here. Okay, I'm gonna cut the master down a little bit just so you can kind of hear it. All right, so you get the gist. It sounds pretty bad. It doesn't sound horrible. Again, you got good sounds, you're already winning. Like 50% of the work is done, if not more. I'll be honest with you. So I can't lie. When you're mixing, it's a progression, right? I'm still actually working on getting better, but think of mixing like you bake. It's almost like baking, almost like small ingredients, like a little bit of baking soda, a little bit of baking powder, or a little bit of sugar, like a little bit of salt. Like all these things go together to make this dessert or whatever. And it's just a little bit. It's not a bunch of salt, or put a cup of salt. It's like 1/4 tablespoon. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I say that is because it's all about the little changes and tweaks that you make that create this bigger picture of quality and representation of the track that you're trying to, of the beat that you're trying to communicate, right? So think of it like that. It's incremental. So your mixes should get better and better. Honestly, my mixes aren't, they're good, but I want them to be better. And the only way I can do that is by adding small incremental changes to the mix, like more reverb, or hey, I need to add this plugin that has this small little tweak of sound that like makes it stick out just a little bit more, or whatever. It adds a little saturation, for example. So all these things, they come together, they stack on top of each other. Not one plugin or one thing that we do today is going to be the only thing that's they're going to be the biggest thing to, not to bring the beat out, right? There's no plugin that can do it all, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's start with the first thing, which is leveling. Okay, leveling is the most important thing. High quality sounds and then leveling. Those, if you can get these two things right, you're already like 75% of the way there. If you can just do that, you might be good. You might not even have to add anything. But yeah, so biggest thing is leveling. Now the way this is arranged out, we're gonna go to the mixer. It's set up real simple. Melodies is in blue. Then I go to all the way to 10. 10th one is always 808s, bass lines, things like that. And then from there is our drums. And then I have like my drum rolls and rises and runs and stuff like that. For it's kind of more of an arrangement techniques of a complete beat. So this template, link is in the description. It's called the Simple Beat Making Template, I think, or Simple Mixing Template. I'm sorry. That link is in the description below for this exact template. It's got the blue, all the way up to 10, red, and then the green. This is a really simple way that I like to keep everything organized, and this is going to help you a ton when you start mixing your beats and you're getting better and adding more things. It's easy for me to go in and just know exactly where everything's at. So I would encourage you to download that. Link is in the description. Use the template, create your own template, what have you. Okay, I just want to provide that if that's something you want. Master. Everyone's going to hate me for this. I don't care though. The master track has nothing on it. It has a mixing key. This is a plugin to just tell the key of the song. It has nothing to do with anything. And then this tape stop is literally like an effect. So it's not really, it's literally making the beat stop and like come back on. It has nothing to do with the mix, if that makes sense. There's nothing on it. I know some people are gonna, fry me in the comments. Oh, you need a limiter. Whoop whoop. Bro, just trust me. You don't need that. Like, you can add it. We can get into that another time. But the bottom line is we want our volume and stuff to sit at a good range that's not peaking anyways. I don't need a limiter to tell me that. I can do that myself. Now, when we get into mastering, which we're not going to do in this video, we can talk about that. I'm not saying you can't use a limiter, but let's keep it simple. Just remove everything. You don't need it. Okay, we need to train our ears to get the levels to where we need them to be without it peaking anyways. Okay, so that's my philosophy. Teach his own. Keep it simple, right? That's how we want to do it. We want to minimize any friction that we have to get these tracks mixed. We don't want stuff on certain on a master bus or on a mixer that we don't really know what it's doing, right? So go ahead and get rid of it. Boom. So let's go ahead and start with volume adjustment. So I'm gonna select all this stuff and drop it all down to 0, and then you can deselect. So if you just hold control and then just click the first one and then just drag your mouse, you can select everything. Okay, boom. All right, so let's go ahead and just play it, and we're going to play at the chorus. Make sure we're playing it at the chorus, which is has most of the stuff that you're typically, most of the instrumental elements. Okay, there are some elements, as you can see, that are not in the chorus, which we can come through to later. So the 808 and the kick are going to be the heart of this track. That's just the way this track is. If your track, you want the snare to be the element, by all means, experiment with this. But whatever the element is, you want to set that first. So the one wherever you want it to be the anchor of the song, you want to set that first. So the 808 and kick for me is going to be the anchor. So, and this is where we're going to try to make sure we're in line with that master. We don't need a limiter to do that. It's too loud. It's peaking over 3. I don't like to peak over 3. Okay, I like to just go right below there, and then that would give us room for mastering. Right, we're at 0. We don't got no room. So 3 is good. It's healthy. Again, I'd rather the volume of your track be lower. We can always crank up your volume. We can always take the master or take the overall sound and just turn it up. That ain't a problem. When it's too loud and it's clipping, it's over. Now, see the kick, I like the kick to kind of sit below the 808 a little bit. The 808's kind of doing a lot of the work for me. If you don't have a kick and you just have 808, that's cool too. But this kick really works well with the 808, and it kind of brings in that mid-range up a little bit, and I like it. Now, I would throw a limiter on here or do like a side chain. We could do a side chain if you want to. I would do that. To be quite honest with you, I didn't do side chaining for years. I never had to do it. Well, not that I never had to. I just didn't need to do it. Like, the track sounded good. Like, it could be better, right? Again, it's a progression. but it sounds good enough. Like the artist loves it or the company loves it. Like they have their own engineers. Like you gotta understand, we're not engineering. We're making the beat, and we want to communicate that vibe we're making with the beat. That's the whole point of mixing. So that way the artist can get it, their engineers can get it, the company can get it, their engineers can grab it and use it the way they see fit. So we'll throw a limiter on here. So we throw a limiter on the 808, and then the kick, we need to grab the kick and just right click and side chain to this track. Boom. Okay. And then we go to the limiter in the 808 and we just grab the limit section, the compression section, and just do kick. It'll be the only one that's there. And this is a nice visualization of the 808, and the kick and what it's actually doing, which I like about this plugin. It shows you what's going on. So, but again, remember, we want to be listening to what's going on. What we see is cool, but it's all about what we hear. So let's turn the attack up, or keep the attack down. Let's turn the the threshold down. And you see that ratio's got to go down too. So you see those purples, it's dipping down. That 808 peak is dipping down when the kick goes in. And that attack and release is going to determine how wide that dip is going to be, if that makes sense. Basically how long it's going to stay down. So we want to just kind of quick. We want that to kind of go with the metronome like that. If you hear the dip and it kind of goes off from the metronome, it's kind of hard to explain, but you kind of want it in sync. Like you don't want it. Let me show you. Let me cut the release all the way up. See how the bass goes doom doom, and it doesn't. It's not in rhythm with the metronome. We don't want that. So. That's good enough. We can kind of keep playing with it, but I don't want to get too. Again, I want this to keep this real simple. If you even throw this on here, it's just a little bit like that. The way I did that, you're already winning. Okay. If you're not comfortable adding a limiter and doing this sidechain, you don't have to do it. You just don't. It's okay. Okay. You don't have to do it right now. All right. So boom. So that sounds good. Let's go ahead and throw in our melodies. So we got to figure out which one we want to kind of be the main lead. So this is clearly the lead. Sounds pretty good so far. We can always adjust. Let's go ahead and throw all the drums in. Make sure this is working though. Throw them all in. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of these for now. Just get those out the way. So I'm not gonna lie, this sounds good already. We didn't really do anything. Like we just adjusted the 808 to the side chain, and then we just kind of threw in the melodies and the drums to make it, we didn't just blast them. We kind of gradually brought them up. It already sounds good already, okay? But we're going to start to break it down and get into more of the details. But again, you're already like 80% of the way there now at this point. Like we're already moving along. We haven't even added any EQ, any reverb, anything like that, and it already sounds great, okay? So, boom. So let's go ahead. We'll throw the rest of these in. So what we're listening for right now is anything that sticks out. It's like, oh, that's too loud, and we want to bring it down, or bring everything else around it up. And we want to get that snare a little bit below the 808. It already sounds really good. Now, I'm going to keep adjusting, but let's go ahead and start panning some things. And then we're gonna come back around and maybe level some more things out. This is just the beginning. So I want to go ahead and pan some things. That's the next thing I want to talk about is we want to pan things as well, to the left and to the right. That's going to make some more room for certain things. And let me show you what I mean. So in the melody section, we have these 4 melodies. Like this one. And that one. So we have these 2 and we have this main one. So I want to pan these. So I want to pan the right one, kind of like a piano. A piano has like higher sounds on the right and then the lower on the left. So this is a higher sound, like a higher, frequency. So we want to pan that to the right a little bit. And then pan this one to the left just a little bit. Not a lot though, just a little bit. Let's listen to it. We're always constantly watching and monitoring this master, make sure we're in that range. That sounds really good. We did some panning. We're listening. Okay, we're listening. All right, so we're listening to that. Make sure you have headphones on. I probably should have mentioned that in the beginning. You got to have some headphones, like some studio monitor headphones, or not studio monitor headphones, some studio quality headphones, like the these are the Audio Technica M50s. Okay, so yeah, make sure you have some good headphones on, or studio monitors. Studio monitors work too, but headphones are great as well. So we're just like, there's no science. There is science to this. Don't catch me wrong. But when you're making the beats, it's all about how you're feeling. Okay, cool. I want this out the way. Let's move this out the way. Let's make some more room, right? We want everything to kind of have its own place. We haven't done any EQing yet. We haven't added anything except for this sidechain compression, which was, give or take. That was the only thing we've added so far. We haven't done anything, and it already sounds great. So. that down a little bit. Drum roll. So that's cool. So far, so good. All right. So now what I want to do now is let's throw some effects in. Now, what I will say is effects are not necessarily part of mixing. So you kind of would do this while you're making the beat because you kind of want a certain sound, but they kind of overlap. So I want to kind of add some effects to these melodies and things like that and to make it sound the way I want it to. So for example, this one right here, I want to kind of throw in some effects. Let's do like a love filter. I want to use all stock plugins right now. So we'll do I like that. That sounds dope. That sounds dope. Cool. Just add some like effects to it. Those are not really like mixing tricks, more like effects and kind of how you want stuff to sound, but it does go play a role in your mixing. So boom. Sounds dope. All right, so now let's go ahead and do some EQ. Real simple. Let's go ahead and throw some EQ in here. And the biggest thing with your melodies is we want to get out the way of the 808. It's not all this, but it's that sub and that bass. We can use the parametric EQ 2, which is a FL Studio stock plugin. And what we can do is we just want this sub and that bass to kind of have its own space. I'm over here spitting. Oh, snap. Let me stop. But no, but we do. We want that to have space. Now, I'm going to over-exaggerate this a little bit to let you hear it, but this will give you an idea. I'm actually going to kill that. No, I'm not. I lied. All right, so real easy. You're just going to go here, do type, and do low shelf, and it should let you drag. And then you can just drag it with the scroll wheel to adjust, or not drag it with the scroll. You can scroll to adjust the steepness. Then you can just drag it and just like that. And it's going to tell you where it kind of lives at too. So. And we're going to get rid of some of this too. All this extra stuff, it's not really living there anyways. We just can get rid of it. Any extra sounds or wave forms or things that are not really, you can't really hear them, they're not really present, they clutter up the mix, right? So we want to keep it clean. We're just going to do subtractive right now. So we're not going to do a bunch of additive stuff. It's not really necessary. We can do some additive stuff if you want to, but subtractive EQ is the way to go. Again, we'll get rid of that low. And we can just do a low pass, sorry. Set it as a high pass if you want to. You really don't have to, but All right. So like this example, this is a great example. Like this right here, very high frequencies. We can get rid of a lot of that low. It's actually not that high, but because there's some super high trebles that they're not there either, we can cut those out. Just enough though. We don't want to, we're not trying to create that underwater effect sound. We don't want that, so. But this extra piece of stuff right here, we don't need it. So boom. A good plugin for 808 will be a distorter. So we can just use Fruity Fast Distortion. It's a pretty good stock plugin. Good preset would be the heat, I think, or the warmth one, or something. I think it's and you can flip this between the two, and I like this one better. So that sounds pretty good. What we can do is we can just adjust that mix so it kind of blends in a little bit better. So before, or before, after. Just kind of adds a little grit to it. It cuts through the mix. When you put it all together, sounds pretty good. Sounds really good. All right, so that is it for the 808s and for the kicks and stuff like that. Sometimes I'll throw a plug-in or a mixer or EQ on it, but most of the time I don't. For the kick, we can kind of just drop that down a little bit. Maybe cut the sub a tiny bit, just a tiny bit. Let the 808 kind of do its thing, but you don't really have to do all that. I tend not to do EQ for drums, so mainly you just want to have your melodies. So, boom, that's it. Okay, we've got, so far we have the volume, making sure we have good sounds actually, then the volume, then we've added some panning as well, and then we did a little EQ. That's it. So far, I mean, this sounds good already, and this is where I want you to focus in on. I want you to spend more time, train your ears. I want to move quick and also get this video out or get this content out. I don't want to spend 2 hours mixing, but it can take time, especially when you're just getting started. But also, do not overthink it. Do these steps, get the track you want to have, like the way you want it to sound, within a reasonable time, and just move on. Get it out. Send it to the artist, or upload the beat, or send it to whomever wants to hear it. Whatever. Upload it to Spotify. Whatever it is, I want you to move forward. I don't want you to spend 3, 4, 5, 6 hours on one track trying to get it perfect. Like, let me tweak this one little thing. You don't want to spend forever doing that. All right, what's left is reverb. We want to throw some reverb on here, and then that's going to wrap this up, okay? I want to keep this really simple. I want you to practice this stuff. Get really good at it. And there's some advanced techniques that we can go through as well, like adding buses and things like that, but it all is rooted in this foundation here. Okay, so let's go and throw some reverb. I like to throw reverb on like my snares. I don't like throwing reverb on like kicks and 808s. It doesn't make any sense, unless you're trying something experimental. But you want to throw it on your kicks, your snares, and like maybe your hi-hats or something like that. So let's do that. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this in, do a reverb 2. So I'm going to go ahead and solo this out real fast just to show you. That's too much reverb. Way too much reverb. But we want to adjust it and then pull back after. You can click this tempo button too to kind of keep it in tempo. Let's try that. I kind of like that. And then we're going to take the wet and just drag it all the way down because we want very little. And then we're going to play it all together and see what it sounds like. So I don't like the delay on there. I'm going to cut that off. So you're not going to hear it as much with everything playing, but that's the point. You want to feel it. I'm telling you, this is all the small ingredients again. This is like adding that small little bit of salt to that cake. Like, who adds salt to cake? Like, this is a prime example of that. So we want to just copy this reverb by just dragging it or clicking on it, drop down and do save preset as. Click, hold that, and drag it to the next one. So I want to do my hi-hat. You hear that? This is without it. This is with it. Sounds dope. Now this is with it all together. Sounds awesome. Let's go ahead and drag, let's do the same thing. Save as, and drag this to the hi-hat, and drag this to our perk. And we can grab it to the rim shot as well. Man, that sounds great. Now, again, this we could go in depth. There's so much more we can do. We can do buses. We can add reverb to like a bus route or insert and just route all the sounds to that bus and just get the reverb out of that and kind of have a more consistent glue to it. But again, that's not, I want to keep this thing really simple. I hope you found value in applying these simple rules to mixing. I want you to start here. This is what I want you to start doing first. Leveling, picking really good sounds first, actually, then leveling, panning, okay, adding EQ, subtractive EQ. You could do some additive EQ if you'd like, but as you can see, I didn't really do that here. It wasn't really necessary. And then we threw some reverb in, kind of glued everything together. This was really basic, and I wanted to start here. I know there's more. I'll probably get slack in the comments. Oh, you don't know what you're doing. I don't want to hear all that. This is for you. This is not for everybody else. This is so you can have a firm foundation of mixing your beats confidently so that you can get those beats out and get them sent out. Okay, let me know what you think in the comments, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Peace.